Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Here on the Sheenapreneur channel, I share information about government contracting, veteran business content, and other business tips. We in this thing. It is Sheena, aka Sheenapreneur, your favorite veteran. And today I have a very, 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 very special guest. I love all of the people that I interview, but this one is like super special. You know why? Because this is my student. This is my student, Shaunita Irvin, and she is a part of the GovConNOW program, the course, and the mentorship. And she was like, Sheena, I want to be like your star student. And she is my star student for real. I know y'all saw my post. But her company is JWC Industries. She's in facility management, just like your girl. And she just hit the ground like not just running, but like sprinting, like Flojo. So I had to highlight her today and just like have her share her short but extremely powerful journey. And I'm just so excited to hear about all the stuff that you done been through in these last 90 days, girl. So you have the floor.
Sure. So started my company. I think I reached out to you. Was it May? June?
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was something like that. And I have a background in government, especially finance. So I see a lot of the contracts, the invoices, things like that. So I'm like, hold on, they getting how much?
Right. They paying these people how much money to sweep?
Right. So I see all of the money and the contracts that basically come through. And I've been seeing this for a little bit. Really been looking for something that I can do, that I feel comfortable with myself. But I always knew that I wanted some type of business, especially being a finance person. I'm very, very big about building wealth, very big about like multiple streams of income and everything. So I was searching and searching. And then when I saw something about government contracts, I was like, can I do this? Like, is this for me?
Yes.
So, started the company, and similar to everybody else on YouTube, trying to see, okay, who has a video. I've watched multiple videos. Everybody knows you can go down the rabbit hole when it comes to the videos, joining some of the groups. I even reached out to my local PTAC. I think they're calling it Apex right now. But the local PTAC office, and I didn't get a response. And
At all, like no one said anything. This is important because you could have stopped right there, right?
Yeah, I didn't really get a response like that. And then when I finally reached back out, the lady was like, oh, well, we can work on your capability statement. So they said that they can work on my capability statement. Never heard anything back from her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was trying to set up a meeting with someone, but it just, all Apex centers are not created equal. Because I've heard some really good things about Apex, and I'm just like, that hasn't been my experience.
Where are you headquartered? Was it in that area? Was the Apex Accelerators office in that area?
Mm-hmm. It was in my local area. I'm in the Miami area.
In Dade County.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, but I'm just one of those that I do not quit. And if somebody doesn't want to help me in one way, then I'm just going to go and find another resource, because there's so many resources out here, especially for minority, woman owned, any type of small business, really. There's a lot of resources out here. So I just decided that I was going to go, and I actually joined SCORE, and that was a better organization for me, as they were able to kind of help me through some of the process kind of early on with establishing the company.
And so for those who don't know, SCORE is, I don't know what the acronym stands for, but basically it's through the SBA, the Small Business Administration, where they give you a mentor based on your industry. So I didn't have a good experience with SCORE. I went through it 2 separate times with 2 separate businesses, and neither one was good. So that's good that you had a good SCORE mentor, because again, these are people and they're in different points of their lives as well. So don't let that be determine your future or how your business is going to run. So she just gave you a whole bunch of things that didn't work at first, and she didn't quit. She went down the rabbit hole of death into YouTube and came out and was sprinting doing this contracting thing. So we want to get into that. You said you're in Dade County, Miami, and how many contracts have you won in the last 90 days?
So I officially have 3 contracts, and then I have one more kind of pending.
Do you hear that? Look, it took, now I will say, when I bid on my first contract, I won. I was an anomaly. I didn't know anybody else that actually bid on a contract as a prime and won. Now, what she didn't mention is that she got a 5th one. Like this is almost like I'm making this up, right? She has a 5th one pending as a sub, a corporate contract. So we're talking about local and federal, right? 4 contracts, and then a 5th one pending for corporate. Because I teach federal, local, and corporate. Because it's like, why just like do one thing? Because you could miss your blessing, with something else. Not to say that everybody can handle that. Everybody ain't Shaunita, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I got it. I'm juggling everything. I got the like the Harlem Grove trotter, right? So she's making it work. She knows where her bandwidth is. And it's like you get a small contract, you get a larger contract, you use a sub, you use an employee, mix it up. And she learned all that within the last 5 months. And then bid on her first 4 contracts and won all 4.
Because I didn't start bidding like at first. And I would definitely recommend for people to get a little bit of their foundation on. As
what
far
does that mean
as,
to you?
So to me, getting your foundation is getting your basics. So the basics would be your EIN number, for example, getting that professional address, and then doing some research in the lingo, because we need to talk about this government lingo. They have so many acronyms. And right. Sometimes you got to use Google. Well, because I was in the government world, I knew some of the acronyms already, especially when it comes to RFI and RFP and RFQ and ITB and all of these. So I understood what that meant. But yes. I know to the average person, you probably should Google some of these terms and these acronyms just so you can understand where they're coming from.
What they talking about. So I'm going to pause right there, and I just want to acknowledge some people in the chat. We got Casino. What's up? Shout out to Casino. And forgive me because I'm getting older and I got to be able to see across on this other computer. We got Kaishan. We got Callie, Leon. What's up, Battle? We got, is it G-Cop, Jacob? Oh, that's Stephanie. Shout out to Stephanie. Got India. That's my sister. Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. She said, my sister said acronyms in the medical field are just as ridiculous. So make sure y'all show us some love with the super chat. Okay. Go ahead and drop some in that super chat. I know you see it, the thing with the $sign. Go ahead and drop your girl a little love. Okay. So for those who may have come a little bit late, Shaunita is like, yo, I ran into several roadblocks, but that didn't stop me. And I went down YouTube University rabbit hole, and that didn't stop me. I talked to some people. Some people were helpful. Some people were a little bit helpful, a lot of helpful, but she knew what her goal was, what she had in mind and what her goal was. And so that's really, really important because that's where most people stop. I've been doing this now for a while, and the paperwork will stop you every time. The fear will stop you every time. Someone saying something to you that's negative based on your industry or what you're doing, it will stop you every time. So she blew through all that. So I just got to give you another hand clap of praise for that. Yes. So JWC Industries does facilities management. So what were the contracts that you actually won?
Sure. So the first contract that I bid on, which I was so nervous, let me just go ahead and say
you weren't nervous.
I was so nervous, but you know what? Shout out to Sheena. We were on Zoom. I was like, hey, what does this mean? Hey, what do you think about that? So we kind of went through, basically the whole solicitation. I had highlighted, because she knows I'm super organized. I had to highlight the things that I wanted to ask her about. So that was the most recent one I actually got. And I was so surprised that I got my first one that I applied for. But the first one that I got notification for was actually through the state for painting services.
Painting services. So are you going out there with your overalls and a paintbrush and painting?
No.
She hired
I'm
out.
not a painter. Sorry.
She's like, that ain't me. I mean, I do the numbers, right?
Right.
But that's important to know because she's going into an industry. Shout out to Stephanie, sent that. Appreciate the super chat. Go ahead and y'all follow suit. Follow suit with the super chat. Keep it going. But, that's important to note because she's going into an industry that she's not familiar with, which I always say, try to go into something you're familiar with. But then also you said at the beginning that you did some research. You're like, what does this look like? Like, I may not know everything, but okay, I can probably find someone that can paint. And I remember that conversation because you're like, I got to call these subs. You're like, I don't know if I like this sub.
So we need to talk about the subs because I think that stops a lot of people because they're like, how do I reach out to subs?
Yes.
That is a very good question.
Well,
and honestly, you just reach out to them and you let them know what your facility does and look at them and say that you're looking to partner with them on projects. Now, my biggest thing now is partnering with people and finding them before the opportunities come up. So as I'm kind of, getting into this a little bit more, I'm like, hold on, I need some people on a little standby, just in case, for example, a flooring contract comes out. Okay, I already know someone that does flooring, or if a drywall comes out, I already know somebody that does drywall. But with the painting came out, I actually missed the first round of that painting one. So they scrapped it because they said something about the language in the solicitation. So I missed the first round and then it came back around and I was like, yes, I'm so happy. Had to go to a pre-bid meeting and people are in their Sherwin-Williams shirt. We have the people with their measuring tapes and I'm just looking around like, okay.
I'm taking notes.
Right. I was like, I'm just taking notes.
Stop there. That's so, look, all these points is so important, and we got to address the elephant in the room. You're a woman, right? Yes. You're a woman showing up with.
There was two other women.
Two other women. Usually there's only going to be a handful or less, right? When it comes to anything to do with maintenance or construction. And you weren't, you can have the intimidation like deep down in your spirit, but you walked in there like, I'm here signing in. I'm not very familiar, but you're going to tell me what you need and I'm going to listen and I'm going to take notes and then move forward. So boom, you went to the site visit.
Yeah. So I went to the site visit. People had their measuring tape and, they're looking around because remember, I don't know what I'm doing, but they do. So, okay. So I go and kind of look at that. And then my subcontractor did not come with me actually, because, okay. So let's take a spin on this. My first subcontractor did not work out. And I don't even think I told you this, Sheena. My first subcontractor did not work out.
Why didn't he work out before it even started?
He took too long to give me those numbers. So gotcha. He was like, well, how do the numbers look? How do the numbers look? Because I actually got a couple of people to give me quotes and I kept waiting and I kept waiting. And I'm like, I can't wait for you anymore. So I'm so thankful that I actually had some backups. And there was another subcontractor that I approached. He painted IKEA here. And
he painted IKEA?
He painted the IKEA building here. Yes.
Holy crap. You got you a big dog. See, and you just called him, right?
Yep. I just called him. He actually said that this was going to be great because he has done some government work before, but he does not like the paperwork. He does not like all of the red tape. So he was like, as long as you're handling that, I can give you quotes for painting all day.
She said, that's my superpower. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I can do
I do
paperwork.
paperwork for a living. So
Painting, maybe not. So we're gonna pause real quick. So again, make sure y'all go ahead and drop something in that super chat. Kaisha, that's what I'm talking about. That 1999. I sure appreciate it. I do this for y'all because I be feeling like I'm an expert because I'm a nerd and I read a lot. But I just want to let y'all know that I really appreciate you showing up on this live. It really, really helps. And it helps, spread the word. I want people to be able to get contracts, because if we don't get contracts as small businesses, then it goes to the big guys. Okay. So we got Janelle. Thank you, Janelle. Again, I can't see. Sophia, thank you. Crown with the tiara. We're gonna get to some of these questions a little bit later, but I just want to make sure I address everyone. We have boop, boop, boop. Love. Okay. Gabrielle. What's up, Tiffany? And is it Kenosha and Shatima, PDG? Appreciate all of y'all. Go ahead and drop something in that super chat though. Just saying. Okay, boom. So she got her painting contract. She wasn't scared. She went to the site visit, contacted the first subcontractor, didn't work out. She was like, have no fear, got a backup. I'm gonna go ahead and contact someone else. That person was like, you do the paperwork, I do the painting, and now we're married and we'll live happily ever after. Sometimes
so there's one thing that I do want to address with people, and maybe this can help someone, is they actually required for me to put the contractor agreement in the bid documents. So I put the whole scope of work in there because remember, they're doing the whole scope of work. So I put that actually in my bid for the solicitation. And don't be intimidated to do that because they could clearly see, okay, you know what? They're partnering on this. I'm going to be the project manager. They're going to be the actual painter. And I was really intimidated by that at first because I'm like, hold on, I'm not doing the painting. Like, is this possible for me to do it? And then they can see on the paperwork because I put everything in there. So they know and they're okay with it.
And that was a local contract. And one of the things that people will ask me as well on YouTube is, thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate it. What they'll say is, oh, well, like you can't sub out all the work. Sometimes you can. Now on the local side, usually there's no issues unless it specifically says in the solicitation on the local side that you can't, then you can't. Or you can't do all of it. So, but on the local side, she just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm the project manager, and no one had a problem with it. They just want someone to do the work, usually at the local level. So that's a key point to address. Cool.
And I mean, my subcontractor, he has a very good reputation as far as buildings and kind of things like that. So I'm thinking that some of that did come into play when they kind of read all of my bid documents.
That's awesome. And this wasn't even, because on the local side, you can have set asides as well. This wasn't even a set aside, was it?
No.
She just said, I'm bidding on it. Now, take that. And she won, y'all. This is just so amazing. So the next one.
Okay, so the next one is federal.
Federal. Ooh.
Yeah. Janitorial,
my favorite. My favorite kind of. But okay, so that was a federal contract, and so I know that it happened so fast that you haven't really started all these and know all the nuances. But as far as starting that one, you explained it to me, but explain to the people just the frequency. Are you hiring an employee? Is it a sub? How is that working out?
Sure. So this one is actually, and I like this one because this one is a smaller one. And my thought process with getting a smaller contract is going to teach me a lot because so let's back up. The painting is one time. This one is going to be a 5-year contract because it's continuous services every single week with janitorial. So I need that experience as far as invoicing, talking with the contract officer, kind of all of those things. So I think that this contract is going to teach me a lot. So it's basically 3 times a week, just for a couple of hours. And then there's another building that's going to be every other week.
Gotcha. So how many employees are you hiring for that?
I'm not hiring employees. I'm going to use a subcontractor.
That bump employees. No, that was me saying that. My bad. That was me. I love my employees. I love them all. But
yeah, but I mean, so the thing about employees is I know that I'm going to have to do it. But as of right now, just because this one is below the simplified acquisition threshold, so it's below 250,000. So I mean, you can sub out the work. That's totally okay.
Totally okay. So it's like,
and this one wasn't a set aside. I think it was a small business set aside, but other than that, it wasn't a set aside.
I'll be trying to tell y'all that small business is 20%. But you're like, I'm not even gonna bid on anything till I get my woman on. It's like, well, you can still bid and you're a small business automatically, and that's 20% of our contracts. So okay, the next one, ma'am.
Okay, so the next one is my first one that I bid on. So I actually just got notification of that last week. And it's like, hold on. Like, this is a lot right now. And mind you, I bid on all of these Q4. So I just want to say, for anybody that is in government contracting, do not underestimate Q4, because they were like, oh, they got to spend the money. Oh, let's bid. Oh, let's do that. And like, from the government world and from the finance world, I understand that we have to spend the money, but I did not understand, like, you really can whip them out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay.
If they need the service, they need the service. Yeah, that's the thing. And a lot of people don't know, like, I'm just going to throw this little additive in there. You don't know when that service ends. Like, you don't know why it started, when it started. It's not like every single contract starts on October 1st and ends on September 30th. They could have had an extension or anything, and it pushes it out to like January 1st or something like that. So you never know. And it just so happens to be the time that it ends, November 15th. And now, boom, here you are like, hi, I want to bid on that.
I'm excited for Q4 for next year.
Yeah, you're going to be popping. You're going to be super popping.
I am so excited.
Now that you know what to do, for sure.
Right,
so
right.
I want to just go ahead. I'm going to answer the questions at the end, you all. So keep asking them because she might answer them as we go through. And I want to say thank you so much, Callie. Y'all are showing me some love. Like, it was really hard to set up this live. I ain't going to tell you no lie. And I appreciate this.
It was.
I was like, so I appreciate y'all tremendously. So you have the 3. You got the painting, which is a one and done. You got the janitorial, which is a 5-year contract. You got the next one that you said that it was the first one you bid on. That was also janitorial, correct?
Yeah, so that's your favorite, which is litter pickup, but they're calling it special event cleanup.
Special litter pickup. When I tell you that's my favorite, like, I could do, if I just only did litter pickup for the rest of my life, I might actually stay in my business forever.
So I'm trying to figure out why you love litter pickup so much, and I'm hoping with this contract, like, I figure it out.
So breezy. It's so breezy. Like, it's just, anyway, you'll see. So
I can't wait.
Hopefully your experience is a good one. So the event cleanup, that's going to be for, I think you said the parks throughout Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, it's through the city. Mm-hmm.
That's dope. Okay, so you're going to be doing after events. You got to go out there and clean up the trash.
Yep.
How long is that one?
That one is 3 years.
3 years. So you got, look, for the next 5 years, she got a few, like, at least the next 3 years, she got some income that's coming in, and she just started. She's going to have it for the next at least 3 years. And she's on everything she bid on, she won. Like, I'm gonna get some sound effects.
So let's talk about the everything I bid on. So there was
Okay.
one that I did not win, and I did not
What?
win because somebody outbid me by $15,000.
Wow.
And if they want to do that, that's fine, because I'm not going to go into the hole for a contract. And I definitely recommend people do not decrease your prices just to get a
When?
contract, because that contract is going to be more burdensome than you want it to be. It's going to be more of a headache because you're going to be losing money instead of it actually being like, wow, I have a profit at the end of the month. So when I saw someone that was willing to do it for $15,000 less, then it's like, okay, you can have that. So
Yeah.
that was actually one of the contracts that I didn't win, but those are the only ones that I've bid on, and I've won pretty much majority of them. So I know one of the questions is probably going to be, how did you do that? And it is looking at the evaluation criteria. So I have learned that over my YouTube spans and being in this group and kind of looking at that. So it's like, what is the evaluation criteria? Look at the evaluation criteria. If it's something that you can realistically do or hire for a subcontractor, then definitely do it. So I think that kind of helped me to win, because I'm not bidding on these, very complex, they're asking for a bunch of past performance, things like that. I'm not bidding really on those, because I know I'm trying to build up my past performance. Like, I want the past performance on my capability statement. So therefore, I'm just going after things that I know that I can do that don't really require a lot. Like, if somebody doesn't pick up all the trash, like, it's going to be okay.
I promise you it'll be okay. And having the understanding to let the agency know, look, we'll go back out there and pick it up. Like, it's no big deal. Like you said, it's picking up. At the end of the day, it's picking up trash. Like, I know there's gonna be, they need vests and they need this and this. At the end of the day, it's picking up litter. So it's no big deal. So I'm gonna get to a couple of these questions and
Sure.
see if you can help us with them. So, yeah, all you need is one yes. That is so true. And one contract can change your life. I'm glad you're excited, Callie, because we're excited to have you here. And all right, checking in from San Diego. Okay, so it's early over there. And so what is that? Crown with the tiara. If or when you employ individuals, do you 1099, W-2 if it's not a sub? You want to go? Do you want to answer? Do you have an answer for that?
I do, actually. So
Okay.
I did finally meet with the Small Business Development Center. And they
SBDC.
actually have a HR person that kind of answered this for me. So
Nice.
I think that there may be a misconception that you could just 1099 everything, because you cannot 1099 everything. If you are expecting for these people to be maybe in your uniform at a certain place at a certain time, these people need to be W-2. Do not 1099 them. We are not getting in trouble with the IRS. We're not doing any of that. So you are going to have to W-2 those people, but don't be afraid to W-2 those people. I can't wait to W-2 somebody, actually. Like, I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
But I just know that when I do hire employees, they're going to be W-2, just for my industry and everything that I have going on, especially the janitorial work and things like that. I know that, hey, you have to be here every Wednesday at 7 a.m. So if you're going to have to be here every Wednesday at 7 a.m., that is not considered a 1099 employee.
That's legit. It's like the rule of thumb. If you got to tell them what to do, then they're your employee. I mean, it really just boils down to that. Anything else is more, if you're like an independent contractor, it's sometimes like seasonal stuff. And it's more like thinking of a sub where they kind of come and go, not as they please, but more like you do this one project and you be on your way. You can wear your own shirt, have your own insurance, that type of feel, and that's been a question forever and ever in every single class I've ever taken. If you got to tell them what to do, they're a W-2. So
Yep.
that's the rule of thumb. So get into a couple of these other questions. Any advice on insurance and payroll? Ooh, your favorite. Our favorite. Go ahead, tell them.
Okay, so insurance, I mean, you definitely have to have it, especially with the local ones. But the beauty about the local ones, they tell you exactly how much coverage that you need. So you can go to a Hiscox, you can go to a Next Insurance. And honestly, that's where I got my insurance. So it wasn't anything too extravagant. Now Sheena knows that I'm going through this whole workers' compensation now, different story. But if you have less than 4 employees, I know within the state of Florida, then you can actually be exempt from workers' compensation.
What?
Yeah.
Say what? I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a
But you have to, I mean, but you go through, you know, like official website, they give you basically a certificate of exemption type of thing. So it's not like you can say, oh, I'm just exempt. Like, no, you actually have to go through the paperwork in order to do it. But I mean, I'm growing and kind of growing so fast that I need it. Like, it's going to be an investment for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it. But I would definitely say, you know, Hiscox next, and then make sure you have enough general liability and aggregate, because that's a very popular thing.
And insurance is based on your industry. So we're in facilities management. I'm going to assume it's around the same amount. Mine is like $50 a month for general liability only. Okay. But when it comes to workers' comp, it depends on how many employees and so many other things. And, you know, if you're going to be in an industry where you need workers' comp, you can only get away for so long before you don't have it. And employees get real smart when they're not supposed to be doing something that they're not supposed to do. You know, like they're going to find the loopholes, they're going to hurt themselves. And then now you coming out of pocket and you may not have the pocket. Because I went to a program called VIP, Veterans Institute of Procurement. It teaches about government contracting. And the people on the panel, just one by one, it's like, it's not if you're going to get sued, it's when. So just like almost like count your days. But if you cover yourself and make sure you're a legit business, then you are covering yourself. That's why those things are there. So
and that's why I'm trying to get my insurance right now, because I just want to be able to really cover myself. Like, it was okay for my first couple of bids. Okay, I don't, you know, really have it, but I think it's better to have it versus not having it.
Absolutely. You want to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? And it's stressful when you're trying to do it under the gun. So we had the 4th contract, I think you said, is that the cleaning, the green cleaning one, or is that?
Oh, no, that's the one I have the letter of intent for right now.
It's pending, but basically she got it. She got it, basically. Okay. And then I just want to briefly touch on the corporate contract that where they reached out to you directly. And the reason why they reached out to you directly is because
I have my DBE certification. So, okay, y'all, DBE was the most paperwork that you're going to ever do in your life. Okay, let me just go ahead and say that. That paperwork was the most, because I've applied for, you know, state certifications. I've applied for local certifications. I've applied for the woman-owned small business, which that hasn't even came through yet. And then the economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business, which you guys know that one hasn't come through yet either. So DBE is going to be the most paperwork that you do, but I understand why people do it, because it is definitely recognized throughout even some of the local agencies. So the event special services cleanup, they actually asked if I was DBE. And I was able to send my DBE to them because I'm not certified through them. I haven't gone through the paperwork. But since I'm DBE within the state of Florida, that counts.
And did it cost anything to get that certification?
No. So my background in finance and budget won't let me pay for anybody to do this when I know that I can do it myself.
Read, okay.
And I see where people are getting burned.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
There's a lot of people that's getting burned. So, okay, there's a lot of people that's getting burned for people to do things for them that honestly you can do for yourself. And you know that it will be right because nobody knows more about your business and your personal assets than you. So my thing is that you don't have to pay anybody, even if it takes you a couple of weeks in order to get everything together. Do not pay anybody, because I feel like the people that do that sometimes, not necessarily they're trying to take a shortcut, but maybe they don't have the time or maybe not. But my thing is that it's better for it not to be done, for a while, and just wait until you can really do it instead of paying someone in order to do it, because sometimes they don't like the results. So I've seen where a lot of people are getting burned by paying people to do things that you can do yourself, even if it takes you a while.
Even if it takes you a while. And I mean, we can read, right? It's not like when you're learning about a whole new thing. When you're going to be a doctor, you know what I mean? That's different than you're filling out documentation in order to submit a certification.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some things you do need to pay for, but the certification, I just never been big on that because they're telling you what they want you to give them. So if all you got to do is grab it and submit it, it might take you a weekend, and that's what you need to do.
Okay, so hold on. I just peeked at the chat and somebody said, "What is DBE?" I'm so glad you said that, because remember the acronym world. We be like DBE, WBE, VOBE. And it's like, okay, so DBE is a disadvantaged business enterprise. So look that up with the Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
So that's where it's going to be. And it is going to be specific to your state that you live in. So I did mine through Florida DOT, and it was actually great because they had a woman that helped me with the whole paperwork. She was like, "Oh, I'll look over all of your stuff before you submit it. Okay, you need this, 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 and that." She gave me a whole list of things. Once I gave it back to her, she said, "Okay, you're still missing this. Okay, we need this." And then I submitted it, and that's how I got the certification. And that was free.
It was free. Mm-hmm. Y'all heard that? So I don't want to hear no more excuses. I don't want to hear no other excuse. Okay, Shaunita's over here working like 9,000 hours a day, and she's still getting her certifications and still bidding and still winning and calling contractors. So I don't want to hear no more excuses.
So can we, but hold on. So can we talk about that? Because I'm doing this interview because I really want to help somebody, like for real. Yes, because my friends know me, like being all in this spotlight. I'm like, like being all in this spotlight. But no, let's talk about that, because I work a full-time job, just like, everybody else. So a lot of times this was done when I get off work. So when I get off work and I'm on the computer all day, I'm on the computer half the night, to be real with you. Like sometimes I have a cutoff, and some of my friends know this. Sometimes I have a cutoff of certain things I have to do before I go to bed. Or it's just like, okay, at 10 o'clock, like I need to shut it down. I need to make sure that I get enough rest. But a lot of this has been done over the weekends, which is a sacrifice.
Yes, Lord.
And then it's done, afterwards. So for a period of time, I mean, I don't get a chance to watch a lot of TV. People be like, "Oh, have you seen the new episode of such and such or such and such?" No.
That's fact. I mean, we all have time because we'll be y'all will scroll until your thumb is red, but you swear you don't have any time. So that is like so legit. And this is a self-reflection. Maybe you're like, this is not the time for me to have time. And that's cool. But don't tell me that. Don't tell me that you're ready and you're really not. So she's telling you the same thing. She sacrificed a lot of stuff, rest, the patience, the frustration, all the things. And now she's literally reaping the benefits. It shows. So thank you for that.
No problem. I want people to know, like, what does it really take to win? And I mean, some of these things, that's exactly what it takes. You're going to have to read over the whole solicitation, even if it's 35, 40 pages. You need to read the whole 35, 40 pages. So if anyone is, wondering, okay, what can I do? How can I get started? Go to either your local city, county, or go on sam.gov. They have hundreds, thousands of bids. Just practice looking through those.
I swear, that's a really, in your industry, that's how you get that verbiage. And you'll start to see some things become repetitive. And you're like, oh, maybe I need to pay attention to that. So that's a super gem. Super gem. She dropping some gems, y'all. And I hope y'all are listening because this is really, really helpful. So the subcontractors, you alluded to that earlier. Where do you find them? She Googled them. It's not rocket science. Like if you
I don't know any of my subcontractors that I'm working with. So I looked on Google. They had very good ratings, met them. So I did meet them in person. And then, so can we talk about that too?
Yes.
Let's talk about that too. Yes. I chose to do local contracts that I can touch with my hands. And I know some people kind of teach about, you don't really have to be there in order to do the contract. But to me, that's scary. And that's scary because, for example, for my painting contract, they called me and was like, hey, we want to do a site visit because we need to do some landscaping. So I was able to meet my subcontractor there. They felt very, very comfortable. But what if I would have bid on something, let's say in Texas, and I don't live in Texas? Then you're sending your subcontractor somewhere that you're really not going to be. So, and you don't know them. So, I mean, to each his own. I'm not going to tell anybody how to do their business or any of that, but I would definitely say look in your local area because another thing that you can look at is the school systems. Because I think people forget that the school systems is government contracting. So I'm actually going through a supplier diversity class for a local school system here, and they're teaching you how to do business with them because they want to do business with local minority small businesses. So that's just kind of my opinion about, okay, should I bid on something, and then it's hard too, because what happens when, you need to get supplies to someone or something like that, then you're really relying on your subcontractor to do things. So my personal recommendation and preference was to do everything local. So everything that I've told you guys that I've won is within an hour, at the most an hour and a half drive from my local house.
And that's key. I mean, because some people will say, well, I don't know what's around here. She just gave you a whole bunch of locations. We talked about the city, we talked about the county, we talked about the school system, and that's all. She can reach out and slap somebody if she needs to. And I think that's important to know.
So the city of Miami actually had a procurement summit. And when I tell you they served us breakfast.
Whoa, I need to go there.
Breakfast, lunch, they had a happy hour. They had people from GSA. They had all of the local cities, the counties, the school system. They had panels. They had the regional director from SBA. They had people from Washington, D.C. And all of this was free. So they did it for 2 days. And I got a notification because I think I signed up to be like a vendor or something with them, or maybe I was browsing and just kind of looking at events. So that was a real gem because it's not only about going to these events, but it's meeting those like-minded individuals that can really push you and help you. So I would definitely say that if you're looking to do something within business, it does not matter your industry. then you definitely need to connect with someone. So I have a local person. She's a 8A. She's a Black woman, and me and her are about to be BFFs, and she doesn't even know.
And she don't even know it.
No, she doesn't. I just reminded myself I got to email her when I finish with this.
Make
Because
that
we
note.
gotta have coffee, and guess what? I don't drink coffee, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna drink some tea. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna drink some lemonade. Whatever I have to do in order to get myself connected with people like that, because I want to be 8A. So why not talk to an 8A, find out about their journey, what they're doing? And I met her at that City of Miami Procurement Summit.
That is so dope. And you've talked about a couple of events that you went to. So do you consider yourself to be like an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm definitely an extrovert.
You're an extrovert?
I'm
So you'd be like, hey, what's up?
Yep.
So I know personally there's several extroverts that are in this chat. Okay. So again, no excuses. Do what you do. You know,
but even if you're an introvert, there's nothing wrong, because they made us sit at these round tables. So you can say, hey, you know, my name is Shaunita. I own, you know, such and such company. And then that's how you really, really just get to know people. But you're going to definitely have to talk to people and network. So I have some people that I've networked with, you know, from the City of Miami, but then also just within your group, Sheena, I have 2 BFFs from there.
Hey. About the circle community, okay? So make sure
the circle community, and like these people, sometimes I talk to them more than other people. Like,
isn't that something? It's like your circle starts to change, y'all. I mean, maybe not the whole circle needs to change, but your circle is gonna definitely adjust, and you're gonna have rich BFFs. Because if you're in this long enough, you're gonna make a lot of money. I mean, it's one of the few industries where I can say you're gonna make money. There's no way you can't unless you just stop. Like literally, unless you just stop. There's some other industries where you could just go down a row and it doesn't work out, but this is not one of them. So I'm a testament to being a serial entrepreneur. So absolutely. I can say, don't forget the super chat, y'all. It's getting dry. It's getting dry out there. So make sure that y'all go ahead and hit that little money sign and show us some love over here on this chat, because she is dropping so many gems. You helping me out, because I didn't even know all this stuff take place in Florida. So so someone asks, did you win any of your certificate contracts based on the MBE? She actually said DBE, but the corporate one, right? They contacted you for that.
Because I'm a DBE, but the rest of mine, really, no. I would say the previous city, litter pickup, they did ask for my DBE, but I don't know if that actually influenced their decision. Maybe it was just more of, oh, and that's his DBE, so let's just go ahead and like give it to them. But nope.
Probably so. I mean, so, you know, certifications are just kind of like, it's an additive, you know, it's like, do you really need to have a cover letter every time that you apply for a job? Maybe, maybe not. Does it help? Maybe, maybe not. It's just, it's an addition. It's an additive, and it probably did help, and it helps their target, what they're trying to get to. But I'm sure since you were brand new, it probably did help. You know, there's just something to think about. So also, boom, 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 bidding, mentorship. That's me. Who is that? I can't pronounce your last name. Latubo. That's me. GovConNOW. She is a student. She is living proof that the mentorship works. And what else are we talking about in here? Try tech contracts. Would you ever try tech contracts?
Right now, no. But I do have some friends that are in tech. So if I find a tech contract and I feel like that they could do it, absolutely. But as of right now, I don't think I'm ready for the whole tech contract. But the tech contracts, huge. If you guys want to do tech contracts, do those tech contracts, because I wish I had the background or the people to be able to do some of those tech contracts. I see some of them sometimes, and, you know, I hear about a little chatter. Oh, I got this contract for tech or that contract for tech. So tech is definitely a big, big industry. So definitely you could do that. I would definitely say if you're going to do tech, possibly, what would you do in tech? You know, I know cybersecurity is really big. I know some people do like networking and kind of things like that. So I would definitely find some type of niche, because I mean, the tech world is so big.
It is. And for those who don't know, I did IT for 20 years in the Army, and I'm doing facility management. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying I jumped ship. But she's right. Like they, you know, if you work specifically in an industry, like you're the expert and they need the experts, even if you just speak in the language and you're hiring out, that's totally legit. So
okay. So this brings up something else, you guys.
please.
Okay. When I first started, I wanted to do like finance and budgeting and, you know, HR professionals. So I basically wanted to do staffing.
I think
When
I
I
remember that.
first started.
Yes,
Yes. Remember when I reached out to you and I was like, well, I'm thinking about doing staffing, you know, and to be real with you, there wasn't enough opportunity, local opportunity for me, where I didn't want to send someone to a job in Nevada. I didn't want to do that because it's like, yeah. So I was thinking about an industry that I feel like was definitely in need, you know, because a lot of, you know, government entities have buildings and they need these buildings upkeep. So I was like, you know what? I'll be able to do the school system. I can do the housing authority. I can do city, state. It's not going to matter. Federal. I'll clean the courthouse, whatever.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I thought about the industry and thought about where I wanted to be helpful for anybody.
That is dope. And you know, all that stuff, it's like it's hard for people to conceptualize when they're not in it. And you kind of mapped it out in your mind ahead of time and then just literally follow that path. So,
but then I also but I see the contract. So we have a contract for moving services. We have a contract for painting. We have a contract for janitorial. And I'm just like, well, I can find some people to do this stuff.
Easy breezy. You know, there's always nuances. And one thing people got to remember is whatever, like you can choose your industry based on whatever you see, like in your local area as far as government contracts, but you're still running a business. And the thing that I teach is business development at the end of the day. And Shaunita already came in with that, like, okay, I already figured this part out. So, you know, what's the next step with adding the government as a client? So most people are adding government to scale. You're not necessarily building your business off of that. You still have a lot of business acumen you have to have. It's not the answer. Like government contract is not like the answer. It gets you to money pretty fast, which can make it a little scary because you went from $0 in your business to $100,000 overnight. And that is really traumatizing for a lot of people because they haven't figured out how to really fix all the nuances that are not set up in their business yet. You know, I've seen it so many times. So I want to go ahead and get to that real quick. Since I mentioned the numbers, let's talk about some of these numbers. Like where you at for at least, let's say, the first year. I don't want to get into all your business, but for the first year with those, let's say you won that fourth one because we already know you did.
Oh, you want to include that one?
I'm gonna include it, girl. So with that, she said that's gonna take me over. They're gonna be in my business, girl. They're gonna be about business. If you want to leave it out, that's fine. But
I'm gonna leave that one out for right now because that one's gonna be like next level.
She said that's too much money. Y'all ain't even ready to hear that.
Yeah, that's gonna be next level. That's gonna take me to the next level. But hold on. So that means I gotta do some math. Hold on.
Look, do that math. I'll be looking at these questions while you do that. And it doesn't need to be, exact, but give us a guesstimate of what
I gotta do some math on here.
Yes. So with the is it Yvonne P? If you're still on, yes, I do help with bidding. I don't know if you were on earlier, but Shaunita mentioned that once she read the solicitation after she became a GovConNOW student, she we went over a solicitation after she read it and asked questions, and then she just went on and did great things. Another question is, we did paperwork ourselves, did not pay someone. Okay, so D Jacob said they did the MBE, SBE, and DBE on their own. Don't pay nobody. And I concur with that.
Good.
What is it and how do I apply WSB certification? Still waiting on it. Yvonne, I don't know if you're saying what is it, like 8A? 8A, like literally it's 8, the number 8 and A. So if that's what you're asking for, that's a certification that most people would get later on after they already kind of established their business. I wouldn't recommend trying to get it right off the rip, even though you probably cannot. But I would say wait on that and see if it works for you. Yvonne's also in Florida. Okay, boom. Maybe y'all can link up after. And when you don't win a bid, do you ask for a debrief or reach out to the COR to ask for a reason? Yes, every time. You want to speak to that, yes. Shaunita?
Shaunita so like, remember the one that I didn't win, and I told you someone outbid me by like $15,000 or something crazy. Yep. Then I actually asked for a debrief, and they told me that it was based strictly on price. There was nothing that I did wrong or anything. This person just may have been able to do it for a cheaper price, so they won the bid. But yes, definitely going forward, that's what I plan on doing, because that's the only way that you're going to get better is to do it. So the only way that you're going to get better with calling subs is to do it. The only way that you're going to get better with bidding is to actually do it. So you have to get uncomfortable in this process. And Sheena knows, I'm nervous. That's my favorite thing to tell Sheena. I'm like, Sheena, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. And she's like, no, you got this. And I'm like, I'm nervous. But really, that's the only way that you're going to get over your fear. So if anybody is listening to this, please do not let your fear stop you from putting in that bid, because the term "do it afraid." You just got to do it afraid. Because if you wait to, I'm going to wait till I feel more comfortable, or I'm going to wait until I learn more, then you're never going to really do it, because this is, as Sheena says, some of this on the job training that you really have to learn. And the only way that you're going to learn it is to actually do it. So when people call me, or when I'm getting notifications and I'm like, oh, I want a bid. Oh, okay. And then they're like, okay, you need to do this. We need this. And it's like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Are they going to beat you up? They're telling you what they need. It's literally not rocket science. And you got the formula. They told me what they need. I looked at it ahead of time. Hopefully I priced it correctly. Let's go on and do great things. And as you do more of those, of course, you adjust your pricing, bring more value. All that stuff is later, but you're getting your training right now. You can go to college for $100,000 and not get no money coming out the gate.
So can we talk about pricing?
Yeah, let's talk about
pricing. Okay, so I was very nervous about my pricing. I'm still very nervous about my pricing, because you guys know I'm just nervous anyway, but it's okay. So my thing is that the only way that you're going to get better at pricing is if you're actually trying to price some contracts. So another thing that you can do is start pricing some of your local contracts. So a lot of times, I know for some of the cities and the counties here, they have actually all of the current contracts that they have. You can ask for the bid tabulation sheet, and it actually gives you people's pricing. So let's say you're looking at pressure washing per square footage. They'll actually tell you all these and what they have bid previously. Look at who won the bid and how much their pricing was. Not saying that you got to automatically go with that, but at least it gives you a general idea of kind of where to start and what to do. So that was kind of one of the things that I learned, kind of early on is, let's look at somebody else's pricing. And you can ask them, okay, is there a current contractor or a current incumbent? And how much is the current contract amount?
Heck yeah. And like she's saying, literally, they're giving you the price. So why y'all be asking me about the pricing? They're giving you the price. I don't have the price for every single situation, every single contract, but you always ask that. If there's a solicitation and there's you seen it in time for the question section, always ask. I don't even care if you already know. Still ask. Make sure it's the same size and scope. That's really the only other thing that you have to make sure that they didn't add something, take away something.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's the same size and scope, and then you have a range. Like she said, that person may have bid too low, but it's at least it's not 500,000 when it's really supposed to be 100,000. Then you completely priced yourself out and you wasted your time. So,
and I've asked like, what's the budget for this too?
That is a good. Ooh, I wish I had one of those little noise makers. Look. That is key. She said she's an accountant, yo. She said they got a budget. Let me just ask. They may not tell me, but I'm going to ask. They might tell you because there's different projects where they have like a budget. Like, look, we can't go over 300,000. Okay, great. Now I know. And I just want to give a shout out to Gabriel Day. Thank you for the shmoney. And my baby Naya. That's actually my daughter, y'all. She gave me some money for the live. That's my baby. And is it Dexline? Okay, Dexline. I did a video with her before as well. So we got to catch up, girl, and see what's going on. All right. So let me get to a couple more of these questions. I actually had some questions for you myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to make sure I get to those as well. So you talked a little bit about how you got into GovCon. You just kind of like, hey, I see these contracts. I want to make sure that I'm getting a piece of the pie. So do you have an end date, an exit plan? Do you have a growth plan? Are you going to pass it down to your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews? What does that look like for the future for you?
So for the future, I definitely want to do this full time. Gotcha. So I want this to be my full-time gig. And then just kind of going forward, I hope to keep it in the family. And especially for the name, JWC Industries is named after my dad. So my thing is that it's kind of sentimental value for me. Absolutely. So that's another thing too, is that I would love to keep it in the family because let's be real, we're not taught this. We're not taught government contracting. We're not taught about building wealth and having multiple streams of income and investing in any real estate. Like we're not really taught a lot of these things. So the fact that I'm able to teach my kids one day, but then also just be an example for my whole family is really, really what I'm looking for.
That's phenomenal. And that's a lot of people that I know that are on this call. That's their story as well. We're trying to build a legacy, y'all. We're trying to be, breaking generational curses. And I don't want to sound like redundant, but we're really trying to make a difference. Like she said, we're not taught this. A lot of us are first generation college graduates, so we're trying to take it a step further and say, hey, I'm giving you the keys. I done figured everything out. And with government contracting, this is like one of the easiest ways to wealth. It's mind blowing that people will go out and learn. Like I used to do real estate, so I am no shade. I used to, really try to figure out how can I navigate this real estate thing when it's way harder than government contracting because they're literally telling you exactly how to do it, like step by step. If you Google it, now I know I got my course and all that, but for those who follow me for a while, you know that I was teaching a lot of this for free, and I still teach it for free, and I still have conversations with people for free about getting into government contracting. You can go on Google and literally learn every single thing, like every single thing. It's not a secret. They want you to do that. She mentioned several programs and summits that she went to where they're like, this is exactly what we want you to do. All you got to do is do it. So
yeah, just because I think things have just gotten so expensive, and this is my finance brain again coming out. So my thing is that things have gotten so expensive. You have to do something else, like you cannot just rely on your job or just rely on, what you're doing as of right now, because you could just be doing so much more. So even if you're already a business owner, you could just be doing so much more because stuff is so expensive out here. I need some more money.
I need some more money. We like nice teams. So I'm with it. And you don't even have, like, there's a group of people like throughout this journey that they're like, I don't want to be like rich. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be at 100 million, you know? And that's really a conversation, because when you're at 100 million, you got $100 million worth of problems. Now, there may be a lot of great things that come with those problems, but you still got those problems. And so get yourself to 5 million, get yourself to 10 million. That's a very, very comfortable living where you can pretty much do everything you want to do and save and, you know, all the things that you've never been able to do. Now you can just like live comfortably there. You can get to $10 million in one contract, y'all. One contract. Okay. So speaking of that money, did you do your math?
I did. So all of my stuff combined, kind of with all of the years, besides the RFP with the corporate one, then it's gonna come in at about 250,000.
250,000, and she ain't doing the work. She ain't pushing their broom. She's not picking up one paintbrush. She's not picking up no trash. She's like, I'll do the paperwork. Go out and do that and don't mess it up. Okay. Yo, that's a hand clap of praise right there. I love it. And you started this while you were working full time. Game changer. That's $250,000. Some people will never see that in their lifetime.
Right.
Never see it in their lifetime. Oh, that gives me.
Do you know how many hours I gotta work in order to get that?
Forever. No, you gotta work up, and then you have, you know, a very decent job, a very good job. For those of us who either can't get a really good job, can't find one, whatever the case may be, it'll take you forever to get to that amount of money. You know, so that's amazing. $250,000, y'all, $250,000 in 90 days. In 90 days, she was able to find the bag. She was able to find $250,000 in 90 days. I just love it. Oh, gives me goosebumps. Okay, back to these questions. So with, you talked about your fear, your anxiety, your doubt. Did you get to a point where you're like, I can't do this? Like, was it at the beginning before you talked to me? Was it like when you put in your first bid, you're like, that looked crazy. I don't even think that's right. Were you like, I'm secure with that? What did you have any doubt?
It's my own self-doubt that I think that people talk themselves out of it, because people think like, well, I just started my company, you know, who's going to give me a contract? Or, you know, I made a mistake on my proposal in my bid documents, you know, are they going to hold that against me? So I really think it's your own self-talk, because a lot of people, just in my opinion, sometimes they talk themselves out of things that they really should be doing. So there was never a point where I was like, you know what, I can't do this. It was more of the self-doubt where it was like, can I do this? Like, can I really put in this bid, and can I really perform, you know, this contract? And I think that, you know, and the chat can tell me that whether they agree with it or not, but I definitely think it's your own self-doubt, because I mean, who's going to stop you? Like, if you have determined, okay, I'm going to open this business. Okay, I am going to do government contracting. Who's going to stop you besides you and your own self-doubt? Because you're thinking about all the things that you don't have instead of thinking about the things that you can do.
Ooh, did y'all hear that? Listen, that's what you got, a whole bunch of hearts going, because literally that's what stops. People will never ever sit down and submit a bid. So who is that? That is nobody but you. If you are sitting there, you're like, I found the perfect solicitation, and you're not even willing to put it in. If bidding is your thing, you may be a networking person, cool, that's no problem. But if you're like, the only way for me to get to this is by bidding and submitting the documentation, but I just can't bring myself to do it, that's you. That's no one else. No one is telling you you can't put pen to paper or type or whatever. So that self-talk is way more dangerous than anybody else, because most of y'all be like, F the haters, like, but you a hater to yourself.
So for those people, you got to work on yourself.
Yes.
You got to work on yourself. You have to believe in yourself, because when you are subcontractors and you're talking to these contracting officers and you're trying to talk to other people, whether it is corporate people. So my thing is that they're going to be able to tell that, you know what, I have this fear or this person doesn't seem confident. So I would definitely say working on yourself. I listen to Jim Rohn a lot. I love him. And he always talks about personal development and he talks about working on yourself more than you work on your business.
That is so fact. Because when it ain't sexy no more and the business is beating you down, you got to pick yourself up and say, you know who you are, and you got to talk yourself off the ledge, and having a good support system helps with that, obviously. And I talked to you before the call that, just from me observing you on social media and stuff, it seems like you have a really, really good support system. And do you want to just kind of maybe touch on that a little bit, like how that helps you with the days where you're like, whoo, even with work, because you said you drive an hour home and hour to work and an hour home. She got 2 hours where she just can't do nothing really, except for maybe be on the phone. And that takes her down to 22 hours a day off the rip. And then we got to sleep at some point, right?
Correct.
So yeah, talk about your support system a little bit.
So my support system, means everything to me because when I'm getting these contracts and I'm like, I got another contract, like I'm able to call somebody that is just genuinely happy for me. But then that's going to be reassuring because remember, it's that self-doubt. And I don't want you guys to think that I don't have that self-doubt because I really do sometimes, but I overcome that self-doubt. So my thing is that you say, oh my God, I won this contract. Can I really do it? Like, I'm nervous. But then you have that person to call to be like, yes, you can do that contract. And you are. What do you need help with? Like I've had someone to literally sit down with me and be like, okay, what are those numbers? Okay, let's look at the green products. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. So the fact that, I have people that I can really call on, then I think that that is gold because that's going to push you and be able to bounce ideas off of different people. But it just gives you your own self-satisfaction also to be able to, first things first, help someone else, but then to not only help someone else, but receive that help too. So I think that that is very, very important to have a community of people. And if you don't have a community of people, you got to join a community of people.
Amen. That I couldn't have said it better myself. That's so fact. I get probably 100 DMs a day, and some people are like, I don't even want to share your stuff because nobody in my circle is like worthy. I'm like, that's a really weird statement to say. Like, change it. I don't know. Like, so it is important, and it may not be your family. It might, like my mama still don't know what I do. I'm like, mommy, I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm gonna need you to know what I do. Like, right. What is going on? So they may not understand, and that's okay. So if you do start building your community, build your community of people that are your tribe. They don't have to be in government contracting. They don't have to be in your exact industry. Just like Shaunita said, you just go to these events, and then whoever jive with you. You be like, oh, okay, we BFFs now. At least BFF, business BFFs, and that's totally cool.
So there's a lot of programs, local programs, right? So I just found a becoming a CEO program like last week, right? So I applied for it. I got an interview. I'm going to be in that program, right? So another key point about being in these type of programs is you get to meet the like-minded people. So if you don't have those like-minded people, go onto Google, do small business resources, and then type in what your city is and start contacting them, start going to some of their events. Some of their events are even Zoom, things like that. But this course that I'm telling you about is going to have a cohort. So I love the cohorts because the thing about it is that we're going to be connected. So definitely there's no excuse not to be able to meet people because the people in my circle are not into this. Right. A lot of them are not into it. Yeah, so and I'm talking about before this. So I had to go meet people that were into the same things that I'm into.
And is there a fee for this cohort?
No, totally free.
It's free. It's like getting invited to a play date, you know what I mean? But it's like a business play date. And then you're gonna develop a friendship in one of these groups. And it's important that we address this part, because I remember back in the day, well, they probably still have it, but like meetup.com or whatever, where they used to just create groups. And a lot of people have experienced those and they didn't like them. That's not this. This is people are being vetted for various reasons. It could be income level, it could be business industry, it could be local area, but there's still a criteria. And those who don't like paperwork, you're not even going to fill that part out. So not saying that you'll never ever make it to that side. Maybe that's not your thing, but it's like the like-minded people, the people that took time to fill it out or find it, and then they're gonna be committed to the group, because a lot of these groups, it's a commitment. Like there is no pop in, pop out. It's like you got to do every single day that they say, or you can't be in the group. And that is already a separate sector of people that would be in your circle. You know what I'm saying? So that's really, really key. I appreciate that. So for someone who's brand new, you talked a lot about like what people should like kind of like do with their self-talk, self-esteem, but like someone who's brand new and they're like, okay, I hear you, Shaunita, but like, what should I do? What did you do at the very, very, very beginning when we saw these contracts on your desk and you're like, we have that. I wanted to get in government contract. And if somebody was new, do you have anything that you want to add that they should do? Like, should they go to SCORE, or first thing go, meditate? Like, what do you think?
Well, I think the first thing they can do really is do some research themselves, and I would kind of look at some of those solicitations. So similar to what I said before, do a survey of your area to see, what, I want to provide janitorial services. For example, are there janitorial contracts around? And I'm pretty sure that there are going to be janitorial contracts around. But let's say that you're in real estate or insurance or something just really specialty tech, things like that. I would definitely take a survey, and you don't have to know a lot of the acronyms. You don't have to do any of that, just to know, is there a local need in your area? Because maybe there isn't. So then that's when you're going to have, some conversations within yourself. Okay, maybe the local need is going to be 2 hours from me, or, whatever it is. So I would definitely kind of just do that market research in order to see what it is, because you don't want to get so deep into the paperwork and you filed your company and you've done all of this and you don't even know who your customers are. You don't know who you're going to actually get money from. So I would definitely say find out where the money is first, and then you can go and say, oh, you know what? I know I can market to this, and that.
Those agencies. So federal, we know that's sam.gov. Typically, unless someone comes to you and they want you to be a sub, where are you finding your solicitations?
I find my solicitations on Demand Star. A lot of people use Demand Star down here. I saw a question earlier, and I'm sorry if
I think it was BidNet. Yeah,
but it says BidNet Direct, and I think you have to pay for that one.
Caveat. Well, not caveat, but so BidNet Direct, I'm very familiar with it. If you go on bidnetdirect.com, you have to pay. However, a lot of the local agencies use BidNet as like a demand star, like where that's where they hold their contracts. So if you sign up for, say, like for Georgia, I can sign up for the state of Georgia, and one of the counties just happens to use BidNet. If I click on that specific solicitation, it takes me to the back entrance of BidNet, where you don't have to pay, because that's where that agency holds their contracts. But if you go straight on the website, you're going to have to pay. And actually, my friend, she said she paid, and she loves it. I mean, it wasn't that much, maybe like a few $100s a year. I mean, but that may not be in your budget, and I totally get it, because it's free first over here. So BidNet can be used if that agency holds their contracts there for free.
And then I like instant markets.
Oh yeah. I don't talk about that a lot.
Instant markets, because you can set up the notifications on instant markets. So you basically fill your criteria and then you save that search. So once they have new solicitations that come out, then you get those emails and you're able to go on there. And the thing I like about it is, you have so many cities here and you have so many counties and things like that. So you're able to basically sift through all of these because it holds all of these all at once, if that makes sense. So you don't have to go to this city and then look there, and this city and look there, because that's what originally I was doing. And I was like, I'm losing sight of what city is what.
Right.
Gotcha. So instant markets.
That's your favorite one. Is that your favorite one? Uh-oh, I think Sean. Oh, you good? You back? Okay.
Yeah,
That's your favorite one, instant markets?
Yeah, I would say that's my favorite one is instant markets because it just shows you everything as a whole.
Gotcha. And I always put a plug in for GovDirections. I love GovDirections. That's my BFF. Okay. So it just works better for my brain, I guess. But instant markets is dope. I found a lot of like the previous bid amounts on instant markets.
Yes.
So it works really, really well.
They have the contracts on there.
They have the contracts on. It's like this is perfect. So someone said I worded that wrong. Does my business type have to match the contract work type? Oh, okay. So, and that's for Angela Steele. So it sounds like you're saying, if you're in construction, do you have to bid on construction contracts? Of course, no, but depending on what kind of past performance they're asking for, it's a yes. So you really need to figure out what they're asking for in that solicitation and if you can meet it. And meet it meaning find a sub for it, or you can finagle it. I'm not going to say what I really want to say, but make it work out, but the winning is the easy part, right? It's the execution. So if you're saying, yeah, I can build a rocket ship, and you can't build a rocket ship, then guess what, boo-boo? You're going to be in a world of trouble. So let's just make sure we're going into stuff.
So Sheena, I have a question for you. So if I am establishing my company, right? And let's say I do janitorial work. Should I put Shaunita Janitorial Services, or should I go with something a little bit more generic? So if I do want to do more industries, then I can. What do you do?
Ooh, okay. So of course, try to make it generic, because and some people do a DBE, or they do like multiple LLCs. Like here in Georgia, it's $100. So they'll just use different names. Unless you know for a fact you will never ever do anything other than janitorial. It's tricky, because when it comes to names, right? Sometimes names you just literally pull from the sky. Sometimes they're legacy names like Shaunita, and mine is kind of a legacy name too. I never got into mine, but anyway, or it might just be you paid someone to choose it for you. But then you have companies like GoDaddy, where I'm sure they were like, no, you can't name it that, and we just all still call it GoDaddy or Google, or just it really just has to resonate with you. And one thing that I tell people when they're saying, do you like my name? Do you like my logo? Is how do you feel when you say it out loud? Does it make you cringe? I changed my business name. It made me cringe. Like I was like, no, I can never say this again. I don't even want nobody to know it. So that is when I don't want to use that name. So I kind of went a little left with it. But when it comes to what should you have it specific to what you do, not really. But then sometimes, because it's clear what you do. Sheena's painting services. Sheena probably does painting. But then if you go and bid on asphalt or selling ice cream, then you might cause a little confusion. So, it's like a yes and a no. It's both. Maybe, and it depends, right? Okay, so a few people talking about Miami, yes. And let's see. Introvert, I dread industry days and conferences. Look, you're not alone. But just like Shaunita said, do it scared.
Yep.
I'm like, hello, my name is not that bad. I'm better now, but it was rough at the beginning. Okay. I'm a super introvert, contrary to popular belief. And so really what I noticed, and Shaunita talked about that with the summit she went to, when you sitting at that round table, A lot of times people will ask you, and you're getting the practice of, stating your name. You don't have to walk up to people while you're standing around with your little drink. But if you're sitting down and someone's sitting next to you, you bumped, oh, excuse me, I dropped my pen. Hey, what do? You can find these little tiny ways to make it not so awkward, So you're not alone. I still got to do it. I'm looking at the DBE contract. Can I call them for help filling it out? Yeah, so it's not a contract, it's a certification. So I would say yes. I don't know what state you're in, but yes. Oh, yeah, she put application. Okay. All right, don't forget about the super chat. It's getting dry. She's dropping she's dropping money in your ear right now. Okay, flavor in your ear. Go ahead and show us some love over here. All right. When pitching to subcontractors, how do you present the idea and get their quote without saying, "Hey, government is paying me millions for this"? I love it.
I love
Go ahead
that.
and answer, girl.
So you are going to, there's no secrets. I don't want to ambush somebody, because what if you get their quote and you actually win? Then it's like, hold on, I didn't tell them that I'm doing government contracting, or I didn't tell them that I'm looking for a partner. So basically, when I call people, I just let them know that, I do facility support services, and I only do it with government and corporate entities. Then I ask them, hey, have you ever done business with the government? A lot of times they're going to say no. So this is when I talk to them about the perks of doing business with the government, because guess what? They always pay. There's no issues. You let them know that, hey, I'm looking for a partner on this project. Those are some of the words that you can use. Then you want to send them, okay, let's back up. Because Sheena, this is where I'm going to need your help, because people want to know, okay, do I have them sign any type of paperwork? I don't want them to take the opportunity from me, because what if I'm calling them and they're in it too? I would say that especially sam.gov, you can look up the companies on USA Spending. So you know whether they actually do business with the federal government yet or not. So you know that you're not calling your competition.
Say it again. Okay, y'all, I know y'all missed that. Okay. She said that if you're thinking about calling a sub, look them up on USA Spending, do a little ethical stalking. You'll know if they don't pop up, they're not doing business with the government. So they either don't know how or something. So then you're bringing in your beautiful admin skills essentially to this project, because they haven't done it themselves, and so they're not your competition on the government side. Is that kind of what you were?
Yep. That's what I'm kind of alluding to. So, and then also, what kind of paperwork, and I'm going to ask you this, what kind of paperwork do you get them to sign before you send them the scope of work?
Everyone gets an NDA and a subcontractor agreement. Now, my subcontractor agreement is like 30 pages. You had one, right? It's long. Yep. Because, and it's so funny, it probably started off as 2 pages, because then somebody did something else, just like anything else. As you go along, you're like, I can't believe this person tried me like this. So that's getting added to the subcontractor agreement. Yeah. So it really is like, if anyone has done any kind of corporate sign up where they sign up with a corporation like a Coca-Cola or AT&T or whatever, you're like, good Lord, like you said, the DBE cert, long like that. That's how a lot of when you partner with corporate agencies, they're going to have you sign a lot of paperwork, because they're risk averse and they don't want to deal with someone trying to find a loophole. So subcontract agreement and NDA. Now, I will say, as I've gotten more mature in this business, that people don't really come to me shady like that. Like they're like, look, I don't know nothing about the government, but I've been doing fencing for 15 years. And I was looking at something on Sam. It's fencing. It's in my area. Help. And I'm like, bet. We excel at paperwork over here. As long as you can do the fence. So, they may not be in government, but some people are, and it might, your powers combined might work. That doesn't usually work on the local side because they can literally take it from you because there's not a whole lot of set asides. Now, where you can work with your competition is if it is a set aside that they do not have, because they cannot get it without you.
Correct.
So
I needed your expertise in that whole thing. But even before you send all of that, just make sure that they're interested and you can tell them what the services are for. Oh, hey, they're looking for a painting services to paint 2 buildings or to paint the interior of a building. See if they're interested in it. Then you don't have to waste your time with the contracting agreement and the NDA and all of that. So you just kind of give them a general overview without sending them the scope in order to kind of approach them. But you don't want to get that quote and then all of a sudden you need them to do the work and they're like, you didn't even tell us what this was for, type of thing. So you definitely want to be transparent with it and talk about the perks of working with the government. Let them know what your company does. Your company is knowledgeable about this. And then you're going to have a contract agreement, not only to protect you, but to protect them too. Because when you talk about agreements, people start listening to you because it's not just a handshake or, how do I know that you're going to actually pay me? People like to see that agreement. And when you say something about an agreement, they know that you're serious and they know that you're legit.
All facts. That's very true. You're in a marriage. It's more than a marriage because now we're talking about some serious money sometimes. So there has to be some trust established there. And like she mentioned earlier, for those who weren't on, it's better to have them ahead of time so you can start building this relationship. And then like maybe, communicating every now and then before something comes up. So that's the best advice. Now you might get something really quick and then you have to do, we're going through, we're eloping to Vegas. It might have to be one of those and you just have to put your trust. Like I was one of those people like, I don't trust nobody. I can't hire anybody. I'm not subbing to nobody. I don't trust anybody. They're not going to do you. If you say that, then I know you're not ready to start a business, period. Like there is no way to do it completely by yourself. That don't exist. So.
Yeah. And there's 24 hours in a day and I'm trying to do more within those 24 hours. So I need more people to work within those 24 hours for me. So I have to rely on other people and that's scary.
It is. And the key points that you made was, yeah, I'm trusting someone else, but I can reach out and slap them if I need to. You know what I mean? Like figuratively. But
yeah, you can go and you can meet with the contracting officer or the person that's actually at the facility to say, hey, are we doing a great job? Is there anything else that we need to be doing? And you can kind of pop your sub to make sure they're supposed to be there on a Tuesday at 4:00. Are they actually there on Tuesday at 4:00? Type of thing. So it's partly compliance. Sure.
Absolutely. That is so fact. All right. Who else we got? Oh, Crown with a tear. Thank you. Y'all so much. Because she's dropping some money in your ear right now. Because I'm registered. Makes sense why folks skip over my company as a sub because I'm registered. Is it Yvonne? I'm guessing you're saying that maybe you're registered and you're not getting calls. That just maybe because your industry or your location. I don't get a whole lot of calls either. Shaunita getting all the calls. I don't get a lot. I get some. I get mostly for being a veteran owned. That's probably that's on the federal side. But I don't get anybody calling me about my DBE either. So Shaunita getting all the luck over here. All right, what type of legal documents? We talked about the NDA and the subcontractor agreement. And I'm sorry, is it Bathia Kadir? I tried this, but it seems like it only show if you want a contract before. How do you know for sure? I'm guessing you mean you try to look up the numbers, maybe. So if that's what you're asking, want a contract before? I'm not sure the question. Maybe USA spending. If you can read like ask again in a different way? Maybe we can do this for Kadir Bathia.
Oh, I think he was, or I'm sorry, he or she says, I tried this, but it seems like if they won a contract before, how can you know for sure? The only way that you can know for sure is to ask the question. Because I think he's talking about, well, what if they bid on the contracts, but they haven't actually won them? So the only way that you can know for sure is to call them. And I've had somebody that wasn't interested, so I just called somebody else. And then that person wasn't interested, and then I called somebody else.
Relentless. I love it.
You have to be.
She's like,
and
I
don't get caught up in the no's. Like, don't get caught up in because I had somebody tell me, oh, you just trying to profit off of my quote because you're gonna mark it up and then you're gonna do this. And I'm like, all right, so that person isn't open. Keep it moving. But I had somebody to tell me that before, and I actually even tried to call him back and was like, you change your mind? Like, you still feel that way? And they were like, well, I'm gonna learn how to register and do it myself. Good luck.
Right. Okay, sis.
If you haven't done it yet, then you're probably not going to do it. So I've had people to do that. I want to talk about that experience. And that's totally okay. You just move on to the next person because clearly this person isn't open to new business opportunities and new ideas. And you don't want to do business with someone like that.
That's so true. Like, again, I say this in a joking way, but it really is a marriage. I don't care if they're successful. They may not have the same synergy as me. Like, I'm big on energy, period. There are people that are doing what I'm doing that have good energy. And there's people that have horrific, and they may be super successful. But I know me, okay? I'm a firecracker. As soon as you say the wrong thing, I'll be like, oh, like I'll let the whole contract go. And I got to work on that for 2024. But I'm just saying, like, there's no way I'm just going to do business with you because I need you at that moment. I'll figure it out. If you're saying no and you're getting an attitude saying I'm gonna profit off of you, don't you want profit? Like, I mean, that's weird because you're actually just saying that you don't understand business. You're supposed to make money in business, so it doesn't matter what I'm profiting as long as you're profiting too. Like, I'm bringing a deal to you.
Correct.
So yeah, who cares about the no's? We go on. We just keep it moving and go on to the next thing. So let's see. You answered a lot of my questions already. Yes, energy, Yvonne, all day. People in your is it life's moments? People in your circle are clueless. Now, again, it's okay. They may not be interested. GovCon can be so dry. And luckily I have a little bit of a sense of humor. So I try to bring that to it. But I'm a nerd, so it kind of like it works, but it's dry, generally speaking. A lot of courses and classes and events you go to are gonna be like dry. So it may not, that people are just not gonna be interested and not gonna want to do it. And they might be doing something else. Like, the hardest people to convince for me are retired veterans. They are like, so you want me after been structured for 20 plus years to just jump off the cliff and say, see what happens? Oh, no, not that. Not. It's only the retired ones. They're like, not doing it. I've been structured for too long. So it's okay. Your thing might be another thing, and I'm good with it.
So can we talk about, I'm just going to add one thing on that,
please.
Because people have to see you do it sometimes. So if you have a friend or a cousin or a brother or somebody that you want to do this business with, to be real with you, sometimes they're not going to see it and they're not going to have the vision that has been put into you. That's why it's your vision and not theirs. So I would definitely say that show them, because then they're going to be ready to do business with you. But then at that point, you're going to be $250,000 in, $1 million in, and then you're like, okay, you know what? I can help you start your company. But maybe as far as my company, I'm gonna keep on this path right here. So I think a lot of times people are waiting for somebody to do something with, and sometimes that just doesn't work because they're not going to see things your way.
So fact. And they may not ever come around because that's not for them. Everybody's not a business owner. That's why there's employees and business owners and managers and different positions, and people excel at what they excel in. And I had one guy tell me that he wants to be a business owner so bad, but he has a paralyzing fear of failure. And I was like, that's probably one of the realest things I ever heard. He recognized that if he fails, it's over in his mind. So I'm just gonna go this path of being a government employee until I can retire. And I was like, I respect that. He's probably never gonna come around. So speaking of that, did you have anyone in your family or yourself? Were you always a business-minded person? Did you have side hustles?
So the funny thing about it is that the only side hustles that I've really done is like I've sold some stuff on eBay.
Okay.
But I have never actually done a real business besides this one. So that's another misconception, because you hear about people, selling candy when they were a kid and all of this. And it's like, that is not a prerequisite, because I know, Sheena, that, you've always done the side hustles and kind of everything else, but you don't have to do that in order to be successful. Similar to what I was telling you guys before, I've been looking for something, within the past, I would say, few years, on things that I know that I can do, that I would flourish in. And until I came upon, government contracting, I really did not know what that was going to be, but I just knew that I was going to go out here and I was going to find it.
Ooh, no matter what. Talk your ish. And I did a poll on LinkedIn one time asking if entrepreneurs are born or made. And it literally is both. I mean, like me and you are on this call right now. I know I was born. There was nobody around me doing nothing. So I don't know where it came from. It was like a fairy came and was like, ooh, start a business, at like 7. But you're saying like, what does this look like? Okay, this is a good transition into the lifestyle that I want.
But so remember, I told you I want to build wealth, and I can't build wealth, just on my own salary, on my own efforts, because remember, it's only 24 hours in a day. So my thing is that if you do not do government contracting, go out and do something.
I love that, because, I'm going to be like, government contracting. But yes, do something. Find that thing. I love that. We can't this ain't the B movie where you just work until you die. Okay. We're trying to do something different this generation. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. And sometimes I don't fit into that world anyway, but it's okay. I'm a little bit of a rebel.
I'm a rebel too. You see my nails? Yeah. I'm totally a rebel.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a rebel.
Totally a rebel. Okay. Is it stay TBD? I love the keep it moving mantra. I'm at that stage in my life. No more time for sand dirt bags. I love that. Everyone doesn't have to be a serial entrepreneur. Yep. And side hustles are good. Yes. Side hustles are good as long as you're not trying to teach your business like a side hustle. So I want to talk about that too. Now, again, if your business is your business and the government is your client. So some people will try to treat this like, now you can totally do this part-time. This is legit. You can totally do this part-time. You could do this less than part-time. I have contracts in multiple states. I ain't going up to Delaware and Philly really ever. So obviously you can do this part-time. But what you can't do is the hustle this on a mass scale. Now, some people employ themselves into the contract. Like, say it's a staffing position of one person admin, and you're like, I'm gonna put myself on a contract for $100,000 and rock it out like that. To me, that's more of a side hustle, or more of a, being self-employed.
Yeah.
But Shaunita says she's trying to build a legacy. She's trying to build wealth. So she's gonna have to scale. You cannot hustle. You cannot scale a hustle. It turns into a business at some point. You have to have the legal stuff in place. Now, I got plenty of people that have worked on my house that been doing construction for 50 years and ain't never got NAR GC license, but they can build a house from the ground up. But when it comes to them scaling, they're still the person doing it themselves, like put it, brick by brick. So Shaunita has already said, like, I'm hiring the accountant before any dollar is exchanged. I'm getting the books together before ain't even no books yet, but I'm getting the books together. That is really, really important. And those who haven't seen my accounting video, please, because that's an accountant that is specifically for government contracting. So she's going to help you even before you win. So it's like you really need to have that mindset of like, this is a business. Like, I'm not just
she helps with pricing too. Because I had a
help.
pricing consultation with her because I'm like, am I pricing these contracts right? Like, what am I doing? So she definitely helps with pricing too. And I just wanted to add that in there.
And she was on the call. I don't know if she's still on, but yeah,
I hope she heard that. I mean,
right.
tomorrow.
I'm gonna send her the clip. I'm gonna send her the clip. But you know, people just have to. This is a business, and if you're trying to scale because you already have a business, great. If you're starting this, you're like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna try to do this. Great. That might be your filtering process. I've had some people because at first I'm like, nah, you need to stick to this one thing. Some people are like, well, I want something for like snow removal and you know, like products, and then they're like, I don't like none of that. Now I do IT. Cool. But follow the path. You know, do the things. If you're doing the things, you're going to be successful in this industry. Not every industry, but if you do the things, you're going to be successful in this industry. So there's another question. Is a subcontract agreement the same as a teaming agreement? That's an excellent question. So no. Do you want to answer that, Shaunita?
No, I'm gonna let you have that. I'm still new. Go ahead.
Okay. So a subcontractor agreement, there's so many different ways to do this. So you can have a subcontractor agreement as a company, and it's just you and the sub. It could be a commercial contract, federal contract, local contract, whatever. And you have an internal subcontractor agreement for that you require for your subs, right? Now that same document may also be required for the solicitation, for the proposal that you're putting together. So you may or may not need it. You should always have one, yes. Teaming agreement is basically two companies coming together because they have the joint venture and then teaming agreement. It took me, I don't know how many videos to understand this. I was like, I still don't understand. So a teaming agreement is where two companies like me and Shaunita, like we're going to join forces and both of our information is going to be in this proposal and we're saying what we're bringing to the table. So say it's something like an SDVOSB, we can do a subprime, but also it's like, well, no, it's in Miami where Shaunita is, but it's a SDVOSB set aside. So we can do a teaming agreement because she's bringing essentially her location to the table, her accessibility. I'm bringing the set aside to the table and my past performance. And so we're going to put this proposal together saying both of us are so awesome. We're going in this together. And so when it comes to a joint venture, though, joint venture is where you guys, me and Shaunita come together. We create ABC Industries. We submit it in SAM, like a new company, for the purpose of winning a contract. So that's the difference between teaming is kind of like, yeah, we know each other and we about to put this together. A joint venture is an official. That's like marriage with a prenup. Okay, that's like really, really like we really want to work together. And a lot of mentor protege programs will require a joint venture. So hope I answered that question for you.
But that sounds great. We need to do that.
Yeah, I know.
We need to do a teaming agreement or something. That sounds really great. I was getting excited because I was like, yeah, I like that.
You already know. You already know that me and you are going to work together at some point, hopefully soon. Okay. So books together first. Yes. So Yvonne, you can go to my site, Sheenapreneur.com, and book yourself a consultation. No problemo. Make sure that y'all go and join the circle community. I'm gonna have to, I guess, drop it in the chat after, I guess. Yeah. And it's free and it's a community. We got like over 250 people in there now. It's crazy. So, you know, just join so you can learn about government contracts and talk about government contracts and sharing opportunities and sharing events together. But we still have about 10 minutes. So Shaunita is putting flavor in your ear. So please ask some more questions. This is great. I appreciate everyone who did the super chat. Starting to get dry again, but go ahead and those who have not contributed, go ahead and drop $1 on your girl or something, okay? because we are really, really doing this out of the love of it. Okay. I really, again, I'm going to say it 1,000 times. If y'all don't bid on these contracts, these John Deere and Boeing are going to have all the contracts in the world, and we're not going to be able to get any shmoney. Okay. So just do the things you need to do in order to get ready for the contracts. Okay.
And everybody that knows me knows that I'm a little bit of a private person. Like, I'm an extrovert, but if y'all look through my social media, yeah, y'all see a few posts. Okay. But I'm not like one of those regular posters. Y'all not going to find out that I'm here, there, everywhere. But I'm really doing this because I do want to help people, and I want to be an inspiration, because definitely if I can do it and I can call some people afraid, then you guys can definitely do it too. And don't be discouraged if you don't necessarily win your first bid, or maybe even your first 5 bids, because you just got to keep going. And everything is a part of your journey. Everything is a part of your story, and it's totally okay. Find some more things to bid on. Ask what you're doing wrong as far as the debrief. Maybe there's something that you need to tweak. But I would definitely say now I am focused on the bidding and the proposal process, because I do want to get that right sooner than later. I want to make sure my pricing is right when it comes to everything. And I want to make sure that when I'm ready to scale, then I can.
Super dope. I want you to thank y'all. Look, you ask and you shall receive, right? So one more question over here, but I wanted you to kind of talk about your that green cleaning one, because that was a very unique way how we was like so after this question, I want you to go into that a little bit. So where would you recommend to begin? On my videos? Really, I mean, whichever one, whatever stage you're at, maybe you're only one contract away. That might be a good one to start with. Because honest, I don't even remember everything I say in these videos. So I might go talk about the beginning and then the end and in the middle somewhere. So I would say one contract away might be one of the first ones to go into. So one more question to the group.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone submitted a contract this week? I know it's Wednesday, but has anyone submitted a proposal this week? A proposal or a bid? If you did, put your number in the chat. I did 1, Sheena. I did 2. I submitted. So I'm gonna put mine in there. We did 1 this week, and it almost took your girl out. That's why I got bags under my eyes, because I was like, I couldn't even see trying to do that pricing. So has anyone submitted one this week? If you did, how many did you do? And I better see some numbers. I better see some numbers in this chat. Okay. I know it's only Wednesday.
And then let's put a spin on it. If you have not bidded this week or haven't bid at all, why not?
Say it with your chest. Say fear, time. I was eating Thanksgiving turkey and was just so tired. Like, say it with your whole chest, whatever it is.
Because at some point, you're going to have a real conversation with yourself on what's holding you back. And is this really for you?
Ooh, talk your ish.
And I told y'all, I listen to a lot of videos, read the books, kind of do all of that. So I don't want you guys to think and be intimidated by it, but I do think you really have to have a conversation with yourself, because maybe you didn't bid on anything this week because you didn't find anything this week. And that's totally okay. But don't be skipping over those opportunities that you know that you could be bidding on, but you're afraid to do it.
That's fact. It's you really do have to have that conversation. Even if you want to be a business owner, period. Maybe government contracting might not be for you, but if you're always going to make an excuse about time, how much time? There's a whole meme out there. It's like I went from doing 9 to 5 to 25/8 being a business owner. It's like now I'm working around the clock. So you can't say the time is.
Because you literally lay in the bed and think about all the things that you really should be doing. You remember that meme or something you posted? You posted that where you were laying in the bed and you were like, I should be doing this and that as an entrepreneur. That was a good one.
My passport. Yeah, like all kinds of stuff. Like your mind should be running. You should really be like, if you're not eating, sleeping, breathing this thing, It may not be for you, and that's okay. It may not be for you right now. That is okay.
Who is Sweet Mango Juice? This is hilarious.
Sweet mango juice. I'm about to shame. You said don't shame you. I'm shaming you, flaming
This is
you,
funny. I'm
all of
sorry.
that. You know I'm about to go off. Don't know how to bid. I get it.
Oh, somebody said the proposal process. Do you have a template? Yes.
Yes.
So I have watched enough videos because remember, you go down the rabbit hole on YouTube. And I was lucky enough to find GovKid Method.
Oh yeah.
And he actually goes over proposals and shows you step by step how to do the bid. I actually really, really like his channel. Sheena, of course, great. But
right. No,
yeah, right.
like
She's great. She's great. But you guys came here for information.
Right.
So GovKid Method, he definitely shows you how he sets up the proposals. So I do have a template that I use. And one of his things is, you can always have a tool in your toolbox. So if they're asking for past performance, okay, you have that. If they're asking for a staffing plan, okay, you have that. So you basically are just taking these and kind of piecing them together based on other proposals or other things that you've done.
That's fact. And I'm all about, again, anyone that's teaching about government contracting, I love it because again, we got to win these contracts so the other people don't. Okay. So these big companies don't. So Sweet Mango Juice said, why you dragging us so eloquently? Cause we mad. We want y'all to bid and y'all ain't bidding. Okay. I'm always fussing about that. So, okay, is it Kadir? I hope I'm saying that right. You got site visit for Friday. That's awesome. That is forward movement. I freaking love it.
Okay, so let's talk about the site visits too, because I am looking at more subcontracting opportunities too. So I think the site visits are a great place that you can go and you can network with other people, because what if you don't get that bid and they need some help? Then you can kind of market yourself as a subcontractor. So don't always think about the site visit as, oh, I got to go in and I got to win. No, look at it as that you're networking, because guess what? These site visits, this isn't the first one that these people go to, and is it the last one? So you make sure that you network with the people there, because they're going to be like, oh, well, we met this person and I know that they do this, this, and that. So they'll end up calling you, especially if they win or if they win something down the line. So I think site visits are great, but have your strategy when you go into the site visit, and it doesn't have to be, I gotta win this bid.
That is so, they say it takes 7 touch points. So say you go to 7 site visits and you're seeing the same people, they're automatically getting more comfortable with them, and they're getting more comfortable with you, you're getting more comfortable with them, seeing them. And again, like she said, look, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, but especially if you win. I've had so many people call me after I win and they're like, wow, if you need help with that contract, we're willing to help. But oh, by the way, we do work like you do, like the same type of work you do. Let's just meet and talk about maybe future opportunities. That happens very often. This is a pretty friendly industry. Like you don't usually get dragged, because there's so much money. Like literally, there's a lot of money.
Some of those people to call me.
You knew you got 90 days in, and you talk about you.
I know some of those people call me and be like, "Hey, I saw you won this contract. I can help you with it." Well, you know what? Come on, I love that.
Yes, and you need to do this. People need to do the same. If you see someone won and you're like, "Dang, I really wanted that one," reach out. Do you need help? They might win and be like, "Oh my God, I can't even. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't have anything." And you calling them like as a saving grace. I learned that in one conference, and I do it every time. I do it every single time, even though I'm like, hi, I was just wondering if like, yeah, you never know. That might be your way in. So you keep your friends close, your enemies closer. All right. Do we have any more questions? Landscaping services. I have not bid at all because I allow the 100-page paperwork. Look, it's real. That 100. One thing I learned though, a lot of that stuff is jargon. A lot of it is redundant. And in some counties, they literally put like the contract template at the end of the solicitation. So if it's 100 pages, 50 of those pages might literally be what the contract would be if you won. So you can just cut the 50 pages out. So you just go through and read the scope, skip past, the acronyms, they might have that. They might have the history of the county or city, which you may or may not need to know. And then 10 pages of documents that you have to complete. So just go through it. Just take a weekend or something, drink some wine or whatever your thing is, and just go through it like Shaunita said. And I know we're almost at 8:00, but I still want to make sure that we're getting all this.
Hold on, we have another question here. It says, if you're brand new, how do you get around past performance?
Oh, that is my favorite question. Go ahead, Shaunita. Tell them what you did, girl.
So remember evaluation criteria. Some of the ones that I bidded on, you did not need a past performance. But then also remember, if you're already doing this in your business, that is your past performance. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you did it for a government entity. Maybe you did it for a commercial, or you've been doing it for residential, you've been doing it for consumers. So just don't let the past performance stop you when it comes to everything.
And guess what? If I need past performance from my business friend, I'm getting past performance from my business friend. As long as they can call the reference and say that you did it, and you're confident that you can execute. Again, if you're building a rocket ship, you may not want to say, yeah, I have past performance in that. I'm just going to tell my friend to say that I built a rocket ship in her backyard. You may not want to do that. But if you know it's janitorial and it's 1 or 2 employees and you can handle that, absolutely. Some of y'all work in the industry, like your job, your W-2 job that you've had for 20 years, that's your past performance. Yep. That is literally, even if you've never had a business in your life, that is your past performance. It still counts. You have, your brain is what they're essentially asking for. How can you navigate this process and this project? You're the CEO. How can you navigate this? So whether it's you as a human being was doing the job, or you have the past performance, eventually you'll get it. But at the beginning, yeah, you finagle it. You use your own past performance for your business, or you use your own past performance as a human.
So another way you can also build that past performance too is to do quotes. So I know, for example, someone's doing like landscaping services, right, in the chat. Then my thing is that reach out to your local entities, register as a vendor, and then you're building past performance with them. Because let's say it's below 10,000. So anything below 10,000, all they have to do is get 3 quotes. Then you need to make sure that you're promoting your business to be one of those 3 quotes, because you're building past performance before you even have to do a contract. So that's another thing that, somebody can work on and kind of really do. So there's little nuances and, things that you can do, but do not let anything stop you.
I'm so glad you said that. Look, we're going overtime, but whoever want to stay, because I don't want Shaunita to be so tired she can't go to work tomorrow. But look, so the thing is, she's talking about micro purchasing. Yep. Everyone asked me. It took me, again, another 15 videos to figure out what micro purchasing actually was. Micro purchasing is like the agency is buying something on Amazon and you are Amazon. There's virtually no paperwork. You may be a W-9 and you register as a vendor, and they're like, look, we need you. We had one of my other students, they did a micro purchase to remove some bags, like bags that were filled with trash. They literally said, send me an invoice, like it wasn't even a quote really. It was more like, how you gonna do this? I'm gonna get 5 people, it's gonna take 2 hours, and here's my price. And they was like, bet. When you do it, invoice me. They paid the same day in person. I was like, dang, because they're just paying with a credit card. So that wasn't a $10,000 one, but also you need to know that everyone's purchase card amount is not going to be 10,000. It might be 3,000, 5,000, whatever. So that's important when you're building these relationships. You could be on a contract and they're like, Sheena, I need you to just come and do a 1-day deep cleaning, and I'm just going to use a credit card. Bet, I'm already established with this agency, And that's not even a part of my contract money. This is an additional thing that they want me to do, and I'm getting paid immediately. As soon as they touch their email, they like, boop, no problem. So that's micro purchases she's talking about. And we're talking about registered as a vendor. You ain't did no documentation. You just register as a vendor. Put your information that you already have on their site, county, city, state. They reach out to you. We need you to do this deep cleaning. Okay, here's my quote. Come and do it. Done in one day. Swipe. Paid. Past performance. I love it. All right. I'm going to do the last couple of questions. Okay. So I plan to network with everyone there and share. They will be willing to share their quote pricing, purchase a landscaping company. Oh, okay. I know most of the bidders are subs for others. That's very true. Sometimes they're not in a position to be primes when you go to these site visits. So you might be the only prime there. And they're like, ooh, I want to work with you because you are prime and I'm just trying to be a sub for whatever reason they have. Factoring companies. Yes. Now it's NOW. Now they don't call themselves a factoring company, but they essentially are. Very, very good company. They're endorsed by Stacey Abrams. They're a great company, but you have to have business credit with them. Like you have to have business credit in order to get with them. So that's a whole topic for another day. I use Southstar. They're a factoring company, also very good, except the process is extremely long. So those are the two that I use. And most of the people that deal with factoring are in logistics. Since I'm not in logistics, I didn't really go with those. Not saying that I wouldn't, I just didn't. So Now Account and Southstar Financial are the two factoring companies I would recommend. So look for when you're new to janitorial. Look for janitorial contracts. That's all I'm saying. All right. So real quick, this is the last thing for real, Shaunita. I don't want you to be like your eyes start crossing. So
I'm about to do work after this anyway. So
Lord, take a nap. You did work. Take a nap.
Yeah. So, but I am going to put my contact information in the chat.
Please. Yeah. So, and look, she just won 4 contracts with a 5th one pending. So don't be blowing up her email, her whatever contact information she's going to leave. Don't blow it up. All right. She got all these contracts and stuff that she's trying to like manage. So be strategic with your questions. That's one thing I ask people. Don't just say, how do you get contracts? Lord have mercy. You know, just if you have something specific to ask based on what you've already researched, then come to her. So she had a very unique contract that we kind of ping-ponged on. And can I be like transparent with what we talked about?
Yeah, absolutely.
So she mentioned earlier, this is I think it's a janitor. This must be the janitorial one with the green, right? She was like, I think someone, you know, it was confusing because they never got your bid, right? It went to like their spam. That was right. So come to find out, only one person. It's not funny, but this is the kind of stuff that stops people. Only one person's email went through, and all these other people who bid on this contract, they went to spam. And so he was like, how did this person win? Because I bid less than them, right? That's what that was.
Yep.
So she didn't just say, oh, darn, I didn't win. She's like, got on the phone, like, what's up? Like, what did I do wrong? Come to find out, they never saw her bid. It went to spam. So then she's like, okay, boom. Now they're going to reissue it. Thank you, Lord. That is a gem because that don't always happen. They be like, oh, well, didn't see it. Have a nice day. And that just side note. And I don't know if you did this or not, Shaunita, doesn't really matter at this point, but make sure when you submit your bids that you're asking for confirmation, like aggressively. Please confirm receipt. And if you don't get it within a couple of hours or the next day,
I actually do that because I want to make sure that they got it. And for the most part, they will respond.
For the most part, they will respond. Very infrequently. All right. Is the Yogi Dev? I appreciate it. Dropping some shmoney because it was getting a little dry. I appreciate it. So, boom. Now it's been reissued. Found out that it wasn't anything that she did wrong. Thank goodness. And now they're gonna say, here's another chance. So then your pricing was it competitive? Like you had gotten to a point where you're like, okay, now I need to fix my pricing. And it was something about the green cleaning that I wanted to kind of highlight.
Right. So the green cleaning, I mean, they said, oh, we only do green cleaning. And I'm like, oh, for real? Oh, okay.
Where was that?
Where was that? Had no idea. But again, these are one of those things that you're just going to have to do it. So the contracting officer was like, well, can you provide green products? I sure can. Because guess what? I can Google and I can order stuff online. We order Amazon and everything else, DoorDash. We can definitely order some products online. So that is exactly what I did.
Yes. And I remember her saying, you were asking me about the green products. And I was like, well, was it in the solicitation? And you were like, damn, it was. I just was like,
and I missed it. And
yes.
that just goes to show you that it doesn't have to be perfect, because I totally missed that piece within the solicitation and I still got it.
And still got to talk your ish, girl. Talk your ish. I love it. And I love that story because it was so unorthodox. It was like they didn't get it. Then they reissued it. She called and was like, what's up? Why didn't I get it? Oh, snap. My pricing might not be good because I totally missed the green product thing, which in janitorial, they might say it, but they don't want to pay that price. But they were like, nah, you're going to do this green cleaning. And so it's like, oh, snap. That's usually double what the price is. So that story inspired me. So I just wanted her to share that. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the whole thing went wrong from the submission to the pricing, and she still got it, and it worked out great. And they were communicating with her a lot. The agency was very transparent, very communicative, and so the advice I gave to her was, "This is a good agency. So after you execute this one, you need to be, hey girl, you got something for me," and that's okay. You know, of course, tactfully for those who maybe don't know that. But you can build a relationship with this agency because I know you're going to do a good job, and they're going to give you more stuff, whether it's a micro purchase or whatever, and they're going to come to you essentially first. So just wanted to highlight that. We are 11 minutes over. Now Corp is it. Yep, that's it. She's gracious enough. Did you put your information in the chat yet?
Yeah, I put my email in the chat for everybody. I'll drop it in there one more time just to make sure everybody has it.
I don't see it. Am I blind?
But yeah, you all reach out to me. I don't mind helping. I definitely can answer some questions for you all.
Strategically now. All right. Don't be blowing up her email with, how do you get contracts? Because I'm gonna tell her to forward it to me, and I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna respond like a bully, like I am. But Shaunita, you know, you're like my superhero right now. I'm like, Shaunita doing better than me. But I want that. I want you all to just go far surpass. And you are living proof that if you do the things, and it wasn't just one source, it was just, you know, being logical, doing it scared, reaching out, and just really, really doing all the things you need to do to make this work. And you did it in a short period of time. It may have felt like it was 1,000 days, but you really did the darn thing. And I'm just so incredibly proud of you. Again, she's a GovConNOW student, for those in the bed, okay? And we have the mentorship that comes with it. She did a lot of work on her own. There's no way in the world that I can carry you through every single part of your business. So that's impossible. There's no one that can do that for you. But you are, you know, I'm always here. So I really appreciate you sharing and being transparent, because I know you said this ain't even like what I want to do, but I appreciate it, and you answering the questions. And so I appreciate everybody else as well. They're saying they didn't see your email.
Yeah, let me drop it one more time.
Are you putting in on the YouTube chat? Put on in YouTube.
I put it on the live chat.
I don't see it either.
What's the difference?
No, that's supposed to be where it goes. But everyone who,
well, okay, I'll just tell everybody right now, just in case.
Get your pens and paper out.
So it's info@JWC Industries. So it's right below my name.com. No dots, no spaces. Just info@JWCindustries.com.
Beautiful. Said 40 plus watchers. Please hit the thumbs. Okay. All right. What is it? Shay TBD. Yes. Everybody hit a like right now. Hit a like on this right now, or you're gonna get blocked. I'm just joking. But everybody hit a like on this. All right. It really helps the algorithm too. We're trying to share the gospel. We're trying to get more friends in this industry. And all my veterans, I didn't even say much about the veterans. So I really want y'all to go through this. My veteran, like people in accounting, veterans, and real estate, they do the best with the paperwork because we're just, I guess, so used to it. Paperwork for a living. So I really want y'all to kind of, come to me and talk to me about this veteran business stuff because there's so many programs out there for us. But thank you everyone that contributed to the super chat and asked questions and stayed engaged and stayed for 15 minutes. Oh, that's 2 hours and 15 minutes. You could have been anywhere else, but you were here with us. So, Shaunita, you stay on. I'm going to end the live. And everybody else, peace out. Have a great one. And thank you again. Bye.